Welcome back to the Airplane of the Month at Travis Heritage Center. This month I'm sitting in the flight deck of a Boeing B-52 heavy bomber and was introduced into service in 1957 to replace the B-47 and provide the United States Air Force with intercontinental capability. The B-52 was powered by 8 engines. Control panel for the pilot and co-pilot was a very busy area to be. There were 32 instruments informing the pilot and co-pilot of what was going on with the engines. A pressure gauge, an engine speed indicator, an exhaust temperature gauge, and a fuel flow meter. These things were monitored by combinedly the pilot and the co-pilot, though the co-pilot had primary responsibility for them. The aircraft would carry a bomb load of something approaching 180,000 pounds maximum, and could fly operationally between 45 and 50,000 feet. One of our team at Travis Heritage Center, Ken Cox, was the crew chief for this particular B-52D. Ken, you were the crew chief of this B-52 operating over Vietnam. Tell me, where were you and what was the average bomb load that this aircraft would carry?
This airplane with myself was stationed at Utapao, Thailand from 1970 to 1972. A typical bomb load was 84 500-pound bombs and 24 750s.
And how many missions a day would this airplane do?
More than likely 2, maybe 3.
What sort of turnaround time would you have for a B-52 to get it off the ground?
Usually 45 minutes to an hour. Service the airplane with fuel, monitor the bomb load, upload, and service the oxygen and water tanks and tires and the fuel.
You mentioned earlier that these engines used an awful lot of oil. Tell me about that.
Well, it was acceptable. It was a 60 quarts per engine that you can only put on at quarter time.
In an earlier discussion we had about 12 B-52s being shot down in a very short period of time.
Right.
Can you tell me about that?
That was December of 73, I think it was. I was at McClellan at the time, and we lost about 12 in a couple weeks.
That's a pretty big loss.
Yeah, they were shot down.
I'm standing beside an AGM-28 Hound Dog missile. It was manufactured by North American Aviation and supplied to the United States Air Force in the 1960s. This missile was suspended underneath the wings of the B-52, which carried 2 at any time. One of the benefits of the Hound Dog missile to the B-52 was when they were taking off in a hurry or on a shorter runway than normal, they could use the thrust of the AGM-28 to get the airplane in the air, replenishing the fuel from the wing tanks of the B-52 once the aircraft was up. The Hound Dog was a formidable weapon for the United States Air Force, and of course, as the B-52s were being used for intercontinental patrols during the tail end of the Cold War, this missile served a very major part of the attack potential of the B-52, making the airplane more of a weapons platform than a bomber. The Hound Dog was a high-altitude strike missile carried by the B-52 to about 45,000 feet, and when launched it would climb still further, seek out its target and strike. The Hound Dog was powered by a Pratt & Whitney J-52, which delivered 7,500 pounds of thrust. That actually is as much power as a single-seat fighter aircraft could deliver in the time that this missile was in service. The B-52 was the second largest bomber ever built. The only aircraft being any bigger was the Convair B-36. But it didn't stay in service for very long, whereas the B-52 has been in service for over 50 years. It is the most powerful bombing machine ever built for the United States Air Force, right up to the time of the B-2 Spirit, which is now in service.